Uh, just want to share with you how I'm going to run Unit 1, Lesson 2, and also just kind of how I do this in general. So I have Human Anatomy and Physiology today, and so my plan is to have a new window on Canvas open where I have all of these tabs open. So this is sort of my class window, and I've got everything ready and loaded for what I'm going to be doing in class. The first thing I'm going to do, since we have Steph coming in, is just to have kids make sure that they've got their notebooks and colored pencils, and we'll just wait for Steph to arrive. Like you, I planned for him to arrive about 5 minutes in, so that should give kids time to get stuff. And if they don't have the sketchbook or if they don't have colored pencils, they can get a piece of paper or pencil, something to draw with. I don't know exactly what Steph has planned. If stuff doesn't show up immediately, then I might have them, start the next thing, or I'm probably just going to check in with each of them individually about how their weekend was and stuff like that. That'll take a little time. I have no idea how long it's going to take for Steph to get through things, but if we have time, what I'd like to do next is, and as always at the start of the lesson, I'm going to direct kids to this assignment. I always start off my lessons that way, about everyone, okay, go find the tasks for Unit 1, Lesson 2. This will be an ungraded assignment that I've made sure will pop up at 3:10, which is the start of class. So they can find it in their to-do list, or they can go on the homepage. I've already linked it to the homepage. And I sent this to you on Canvas, so you should be able to import it and edit it to adjust to your class. But the do now is just to get their sketchbook. We'll have Mr. Pratt do his little guest lesson, and then depending on how long that is, I might cut out one of these introductory things if we don't have time, but if we do have time, I'd like to do a quick Bryson reflection. What I'll do is have the kids, I'll just throw them into breakout rooms, random breakout rooms of 2 really quickly. Again, you can just, on Zoom, you can automatically generate breakout rooms. Once you know how many kids are in the classroom, let's say there's, 16 kids, then you just make 8 rooms and it'll randomly pair them. And sometimes while they're doing that, I make sure to take attendance. That's why I have the attendance tab open. And then so they'll do 2 rounds of that. The first round they'll share their answer they'll introduce each other, and then go through their answer to question 4 here, the mind blower, what interesting fact they took from the reading from Bryson that was homework. And then in round 2 they'll share what they thought was another adaptation or another thing the human body that is not well suited for. And then we'll come back together and maybe share some cool ones or takeaways. It's fun to kind of discuss some of that stuff, especially how the human body is not quite ready for modern lifestyles. And then again, if we have time, I'd like to share some of the Google Slide collages. Again, I've put those all into a Google Drive folder that I have. So here's my tab up here. I know all my students have shared their Google Slide collage with me, and so I can quickly pull it up. And again, I just share my screen, have the kid talk, and do a few of those at least. We're going to try to chip through those. But again, I might cut out one or both of these activities if Mr. Pratt's thing takes a long time. The meat of the lesson is to go through these slides. It's a quick overview of chapter 1.1 through 1.2. What I want to try in this lesson actually is to use Notability on my iPad and hook my iPad up to Zoom. I was shown how to do this over the summer. I've never done it before, so I'm going to try it, see how it works. But if I wasn't doing that, I would probably just open this up and go through it. I might even use the draw feature on Zoom. But again, I would try to spend less than 10 minutes going through this. This is really just a way of honestly just previewing the chapter. I'm not really trying to hammer home a lot of content here. There's 12 slides in total, so I'd spend less than a minute on each one. Just give them a brief overview of like, hey, we're getting into anatomy, physiology. Here's some like body cavity stuff, levels of structure, which they're hopefully familiar with already. The more tricky stuff, I think, is the idea of homeostasis, negative feedback, and positive feedback, and then ways that homeostasis can be thrown off. And then just a brief touch on metabolism is just being more complicated than most people think. So that'll be the meat of it to try to get through that. Again, less than 10 minutes of time spent on that. And then what I'd like to do is some kind of activity, and I use Flipgrid. Now, from what I can see, you don't have a Flipgrid account because I've tried to invite you to like share like as a co-pilot on these. So you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but if you do, I would go into Flipgrid and create an account. The way Flipgrid works is it's a video sharing site. So this is what your homepage looks like. These are called groups, discussion groups. And so I made one for every single one of my classes. You can see here's human anatomy and physiology, and then I made a teacher one too that we can share. So I click on that. And then within your group, you have topics. Topics are assignments, basically. So here's my homeostasis activity exercising. I made a little video of myself giving instructions, and here are the written instructions. But the idea is that they're going to talk about how they feel, and then go do some kind of really quick exercise, like run up and down a staircase or run back and forth, or if they're injured, they can do sit-ups or push-ups, or even just go on a walk. I try to come up with as much safety stuff as I can. But the point is to come back and then reflect on this last question here, right? What do you notice about how your body responds to the exercise? Is this an example of positive or negative feedback, and explain? So hopefully they'll note that like their breathing is increased, they feel hot, their heart rate is increased, and those are all examples of negative feedback, right? Because the body's trying to get, you're sweating to get your body temperature back down to normal. You're breathing heavily to keep your oxygen levels at a certain amount because your oxygen levels going down, they have to come back up. And heart rate increases to keep delivering blood to the lungs and muscles. And anyway, so who knows? So you might not be able to get into that much detail yet, but just kind of a fun, get away from your computer, run around, be silly kind of activity. It might be silly, but I don't know. I did a lot of this last year and the kids enjoyed it. So anyway, that's what I'm hoping to make time for. So we'll see. One of these introductory things might get cut out in the lesson. I'm going to see how long it takes Steph to get through the drawing stuff. And then for homework, they need to finish that homeostasis Flipgrid activity. I have a little assignment made for that. Again, I shared that with you. They do have a reading assignment, so Hall Chapter 1.1, 1.2, and I created a little Canvas quiz here. And trying a new policy this year where I'll let kids keep taking it so they can have up to 10 different attempts to get a perfect score on this if they really want to. It's about 6 questions, 2 points each, 12 points total. And it's just questions I literally took from the back of the book that are all based on this reading. And I also made a digital scan of the reading, so if they click on this, it should take them to a shared PDF of the chapters. So if they don't have the textbook yet, it's right there for them to read. And then the last little bit of homework is to then do a drawing. If we're going to do a little drawing thing today, then I figured we should do some drawing homework. Maybe Steph will give them something, in which case they can ignore this. But my idea was to just draw an organ system of their choice. They don't have to label anything. Just go off one of those drawings that's from chapter 1.2, where they kind of show all the different organ systems, kind of simple drawings of it. So the idea was to just draw a human anatomical form, and I drew the circulatory system, but they can choose anything they want. And again, I made a little video of instructions on that, and again, I shared all this with you already. So hope that helps. Feel free to call me if you've got any questions, and I'll let you know after the lesson today how things went. Hopefully they go smoothly. Thanks.